video is one of the most requested videos over the past couple of months, and I'm going to be spilling all the tea about how I was able to travel to Maldives and Qatar with my husband using the Qatar Stopover program. If this is something you want to find out, then you definitely want to stay tuned. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Molola Akinleye. I am a content creator based in Manchester, United Kingdom. And if it's your first time on my channel, do not make it your last. Please make sure to subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, lots of kisses to you. Welcome back. This video is one of the most requested videos over the past couple of months, and I'm going to be spilling all the tea about how I was able to travel to Maldives and Qatar with my husband using the Qatar Stopover program. If this is something you want to find out, then you definitely want to stay tuned. I have gotten loads and loads of requests and DMs on Instagram asking me questions about how I did this, and I've decided to finally film a YouTube video. Every question anyone might have would definitely be answered in this video. Okay, without further ado, let's jump right into it. For context, we flew from the United Kingdom to Maldives and then spent 4 days in Qatar after that. To celebrate our anniversary last year, we decided that we were going to go on a trip, just the two of us, to go and have fun. And we chose the Maldives because it is a visa-free country for any country as at the time of this video. Just a disclaimer, I am not a travel expert, neither am I a travel agent. I just love traveling, and I have decided to put in the research to find out the details about how to travel. Bear in mind that I do have a Nigerian passport, which is one of the weakest passports in the world, sadly. Another disclaimer, the Maldives is not a budget-friendly destination. Have this in mind while watching this video. In planning this trip to Maldives, we knew we're not going to be flying any budget airlines. It had to be like something that would be able to get to the Maldives because it's quite a distance from the United Kingdom. We had already flown with Qatar Airways the previous year, and I love Qatar Airways so much. Like, the service is just so excellent, the country exquisite. I'll get into details about this much later. In 2022, I had seen on Instagram via Travel Letters that you could actually explore Qatar using the Stopover program. Travel Letters is a travel advisor, right? Muna, shout out to you. She was such a big help when we were planning this trip, and I was anxious about some things. So when we were going to fly to Maldives, I just spoke with my husband and I'm like, why don't we fly Qatar Airways and then use this Stopover program, so then we can actually combine two countries and just pay for one flight ticket. Capiche? Yeah. One thing you need to really know, if you're not going to be using a travel agent for your trips, you need to make sure to do your research. It is very, very important. Research has to be your friend, and that's one part of traveling that I really love. Having to, research different places, explore the locations, check out the activities that one can do, how to get there. It brings me so much joy. So that's one of the things I would definitely look into doing. Maybe like planning itineraries for people. Something around that. But before I start getting distracted, let's get back. We traveled on the 19th of September. We spent 5 days in Maldives, 5 days and 4 nights, and we went to Qatar on the 24th till the 28th. When you book a Qatar Stopover program, what that means is you're flying Qatar Airways and then you're going to stop over in the country up to a maximum of 96 hours, which is about 4 nights. In picking the flights, we were not really picky about the date. We just wanted something that was affordable, not too expensive, and also did not have an extremely long layover time. The trick to booking the Stopover program is to book directly on the website and not on the app. I have the Qatar Airways mobile app, and I never found the Stopover program on the app until I reached out to their live chat. Shout out to Qatar Airways live chat agents. They respond so quick and they're always happy to help. So they told me that I would have to book it directly on the website, to which I went there, checked it, and I did that. To book the flight, it cost us about £2,200 for 2 people for that period of time, and we chose to do the stopover in Qatar on our return leg from Maldives. So you can either decide it on your departure leg, maybe when you're traveling. Like, we were flying from Manchester, we could have chosen to do it like from Manchester to Qatar and then explore Qatar for 4 nights before going to Maldives, but we wanted to do it on the return leg because we wanted to go to the Maldives first. We also chose a 4-star option, which came at no extra cost. You can choose a 5-star hotel, but it comes at an extra cost of about £25, I think, per night. And then I had some avios that I had used from my previous flight, so I just used that. I think it was about 7,056 avios, and that saved us about £100 on the flight cost. So we ended up paying £2,100 for the flight, and this was about 2 months before we actually took the trip. So it was like £1,100 per person for the entire flight. So let's talk about visa requirements, right? For the Maldives, like I said earlier, it is visa free, but for Qatar, you need to have an e-visa. While the Maldives is visa free, you do need to fill an IMUGA form. I've forgotten what IMUGA is in full, but I will have it written on the video here. So you need to fill an IMUGA form and then fill this about 48 to 96 hours before your departure. Yeah, so it's just a bunch of random questions. They're going to be asking you what flight are you taking, where are you taking off from, and all of that. You need to fill that form before you even take off from wherever you're taking off. So we had to show them our already filled IMUGA forms before we even boarded the first leg to Doha. And then for Qatar, you need to apply for an e-visa if you're a Nigerian passport holder, because that's the class of people I can really speak for. I will have the link to the e-visa linked in my description box. And this is because I just checked on Google for like Qatar e-visa, and I went to like the first link I saw, which was a mistake on my part, and I just realized this last month. Apparently, that is not like the link to the direct government portal, if that makes sense. One thing I've noticed with a lot of countries is that the government portal for you to pay for your visa is really on the first page of Google, which is very annoying. I think they need to really work on like their SEO to make it link, because why am I paying for a third-party service? And at the end of the day, we had to pay $250 for both our visas, and that's because we were not paying directly on the Qatar government website, which I just found out. So the visa is about like £70, and then we now had to pay an extra £50 for a Nigerian government fee, which was awkward. But being Nigerians, I just know that with visas, there are like certain stuff that probably will have to pay for. Visas are usually generally expensive, so we had already paid for that. For you to get a Qatar e-visa, you need to have a valid visa from either the UK, Schengen countries, US or Canada, and I think there's one more country but I'm not sure. And mine came out in 48 hours. Splendid. But then my husband's one took about a week and a half. I was anxious. The visa for Qatar is valid for 30 days, bear in mind, so you can't really apply way earlier. So we had to apply like 2 weeks before we traveled, and as at a week and a half the visas had not come out. I was so scared, because there's no way I'm going to go on a trip to the Maldives or go on an anniversary trip without my partner. Thankfully the visa came out and then we were able to travel. With the baggage allowance on Qatar, it varied, right? But we're just allowed to take 2 23 kg bags, as well as a 7 kg hand luggage and a personal item. My husband just carried a 7 kg hand luggage, and I still carried like a personal item, which was just my small handbag that I carried with me on the trip. Now let's go down to our experience. Maldives was such an amazing destination. If you haven't seen the vlog, the Maldives vlog, I'll leave it linked up. With the hotel bookings, like I said, for Qatar, we already booked the hotel with the Stopover program, and we did not know which hotel we would be choosing until we had already made payments. We got assigned to Hilton Honors by Old Doha Town. It was really nice. I loved the hotel. Like, it was stunning. The Maldives is not a budget destination. Please know this. It is expensive, I'm not gonna lie. But there are ways in which you can mitigate the expenses. One of which is choosing a hotel or a resort that is close to Male. Now, Male is the capital of Maldives, which is where most international flights land. Velena International Airport in Male. Once you land there, you can either be transferred through a seaplane or a speedboat to your resort. And that's because the Maldives is a collection of islands. There's no, oh, we're gonna drive to our hotel, no. And that is one of the reasons why it can be very expensive, because each resort has to manage their own facilities, their water, their light, and all of that. We stayed at Malahini Kudabandus Resort, which was an amazing resort. I have recommended it to like 5 people at this point in time. In checking for hotels, we had seen hotels that were like really affordable, but then you would have to be transferred by seaplane. The seaplane costs about $600 round trip, that's to and fro per person. Yeah, imagine paying $1,200. That would have made our costs skyrocket. And most of those hotels, the seaplane price is not included in the resort price, so you have to pay for that separately. While doing my research, I found out that the closer the hotel is to Male, sometimes they can use speedboats instead of seaplane, and speedboats are way cheaper. For Malahini Kudabandos, I found them on booking.com. I sent a message to the company. I wanted to find out details about kind of rooms they had, which I'd already seen on booking.com. Then I went on to YouTube to search for Malahini Kudabandos. I saw reviews from people about the resort. I went on Instagram, I checked their tag. I started following them, right? Because I saw that they usually repost guests that are staying at their hotels. I saw the beach villa, which is like the highest room they have there. It had like a jacuzzi, private swimming pool, it had an ocean view, and the rooms were stunning. And I was like, okay, this would actually be really cool. I found out that they actually use speedboats to transfer their guests from Mali down to the resort, and it was like a 15-minute boat ride. It was just $85 per person round trip. Compared to $1,200, paying about $170 is just like a fraction of that price we paid at the resort. And on getting there, we got, you know, complimentary juice. It was really nice. And then we spent the 5 days there. It was a really lovely time. It was so much fun. Like, I had so much fun. The flight from Manchester to Mali was a long one, you guys. I'm not kidding. We spent almost 24 hours in the air. We took off from Manchester at about 2 p.m. It was an 8-hour flight to Doha, Qatar. We had a layover for 2 hours, and then we took a very early flight to Mali. When we got to Mali, it was 10 a.m. in the morning, Mali time. Mali is like 4 hours ahead of the UK, but that was just such a long time. I had such a good time at Malahini. The service was great. The management was awesome. We had such a good time. The Bodubero night, experiencing the relaxation, being able to do different activities, going dolphin watching and all of that. Then we left Malahini on the 24th of September. Our flight was about 7 p.m. and it was going to be a 4-hour flight down to Qatar. We landed in Qatar at about 11 p.m. It was very late. We checked into the hotel at around 12 in the middle of the night. Another thing I really like to say here is that if you've been to Qatar airport, right? The airport is just a fragment of how beautiful the city is, and it's freaking hot. Most places are air conditioned, it's just outdoors that's like really hot and humid. Someone asked this question, can you rent a car while staying in Qatar? Yes, you can. We wanted to explore that option. While I was in the UK, I checked Uber, and I saw that Uber actually works really well in Qatar, and it was affordable. Like the trip from the airport to our hotel, it was like a 15-minute drive, was about like $3. That was a very, very affordable price for us. Immediately we got to Qatar, we took an Uber right from the airport down to the hotel, and we didn't use the airport taxis because they were way pricier than what Uber was charging us, and the guy came to pick us up directly from the airport, and off we went to our hotel. Now to the Qatar experience. Qatar is such a beautiful, beautiful country. I had curated an itinerary. Let me know if you want me to share an Excel sheet of how I do my itinerary for my travels, and I would love to do that. If you guys want it, just let me know in the comments. I'm definitely going to film it for you. We had done our itinerary for both Maldives and Qatar, but I really want to talk about like the Qatar one. 4 nights is not a long enough time to explore all of the beautiful things Qatar does, which is why I definitely have plans to go back and explore Banana Island aspect. Yeah, there's one part called Banana Island that's so nice. Anyway, after we had checked in that night, we did a room tour, arranged our stuff, and we literally crashed because we were tired from like the flight and all that. The next day, wanted to see the Souk Waqif, which was like really gorgeous. I had no idea that things close in Qatar from 12 noon to 4 p.m. because of how hot it gets. So usually most tourist attractions will open from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 4 p.m. till about 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. in the midnight. Went to the Souk Waqif and we got there around quarter to 12, but most shops were already closing and it was just so freaking hot. We also needed to get some groceries because apparently when you book the Stopover program and they give you a hotel, it doesn't come with breakfast. We had breakfast in the hotel that morning. We could have paid for it like separately, but when we checked the options, it was pretty much the same thing. We could only have maybe pancake, cereal. I was tired of eating pancakes because I had a lot of pancakes in Maldives. I wasn't feeling the sausages, most of the meals they made. I'm a very picky eater, right? And I didn't really like most of the meals. I just had like pancakes and syrup, no protein and some dessert, and I knew it couldn't happen again. Then we wanted to get groceries from a nearby store. So we went to a spa in Pearl Island. It was too hot that we couldn't walk, and then we noticed we were the only ones walking under the hot sun. It was 39 degrees Celsius on that day. Yeah, that hot. So we just had to call an Uber to the Pearl Island. I already explained like a lot of this in my YouTube video. We had plans to go to the beach club on like day 3, but we were just like, we're just coming from the Maldives. We've done like a lot of water activities. There's really nothing much we want to go and do at a beach club. We just had dinner at a restaurant, which was so nice. And then the next day, our flight was for 12 noon. No, it was for 2 p.m. So we checked out of the hotel at 12. They wanted us late checkout till about 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. I think, because we had checked in literally minutes before midnight on the first day. But we didn't need that because we already had to leave and go to the airport. The experience in Qatar was really good. Stopover program is totally worth it. The difference in price between if we had booked normal tickets to doing the Stopover program was just about, I think, 150 to 200 pounds, which was like a complete steal, because when you fly Qatar Airways, you would have to make a stop in Doha before you continue on your next leg. So it just made much more sense to just explore the country and see what was going on. In total, for the entire trip and everything we did, all the activities, the visa we paid for, we spent a total of literally £5,000 on the trip for 2 people. And in my opinion, it was worth it because we got to explore like 2 countries. We did so many fun activities and it was just a lovely time I spent with my partner outside of the UK. Will I do this again? Obviously, yes. I have plans to go to Qatar again. I'm so happy I've been able to answer some of the questions. Shout out to Muna once again. She was just so helpful, and even to all the people who are going to discover that Maldives is a budget destination. Maldives is not a budget destination, I won't lie. £5,000 now is not, in Naira especially, it's a lot of money. Even in pounds, it's still a lot of money. It was so much fun. We got to experience it, and it's something that you should definitely do. That now leads me to like other stopover programs that are available. I've been seeing one from Iceland Air so much that I just might explore that this year. I have plans to visit as many countries as possible. There's also the Saudi Arabian one. You guys should just follow Travel Letters on Instagram. They post like a lot of stopover programs both on Instagram and on Twitter. It makes sense. So this year, we're definitely taking more trips. Are those all the questions that have been asked? Really, yes. If you're wondering what I packed, how I packed, or any of those things, I'll leave all the YouTube videos that are related to this video in the description box. And guys, you can also use an agent if you want, that's fine, but I personally don't like using agents because most of the time places you can go to is quite restricted, right? And then you're on like a time frame. Having an itinerary helps me to like know this is what we're going to do, but that doesn't mean that it's fixed. So there's some days where you switch things up. Like we wanted to go to the Sushi Samba beach club in Doha, but we couldn't go. That's fine, that's completely fine. I'm able to plan my own itinerary based on like the activities I've seen, and then I would say that 4 nights is not enough to explore Qatar, but it's definitely a start and you definitely love the country. I hope that I've been able to answer all the questions you have. I'll also be putting out a blog post about this just so when people are searching they can definitely see or read. If you don't want to watch a long video like this, you can definitely read about it. I'm so glad I've finally been able to do this video. Shout out to Kachi for pushing me to actually film this video. And that's it, guys. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them in the comments below. You can also reach out to me on Instagram or on Twitter, and I'll definitely be happy to answer any questions you might have. Now that we've come to the end of this video, if you want to find out how I prepped to go on this trip and how I was able to pack all my stuff to fit into 223 kg boxes, then you definitely want to watch this packing video right here. It's definitely going to be useful, and then I hope you're able to enjoy it. All right, guys, till next time, I'll see you. I remain Molola. Stay blessed and stay cheeky. Bye.